exposing China's lies.
Was sanctioned for allegedly contravening US sanctions on Iran. China is the world's largest crude buyer. The US and China are caught in a prolonged trade war, and talks between both parties are expected to resume in the US next month.
To be honest with you, Europe has been very, very tough to deal with.
Over the past few weeks, we have witnessed the emergence of a previously unknown pathogen, which has escalated into an unprecedented outbreak and which has been met by an unprecedented response.
But we have one particular problem, and I view them as a friend, and that's China. But we have a trade deficit, depending on the way you calculate, of $504 billion. Now, some people would say it's really $375 billion. Many different ways of looking at it, but any way you look at it, it is the largest deficit of any country in the history of our world. It's out of control. We have a tremendous intellectual property theft situation going on, which likewise is hundreds of billions of dollars, and that's on a yearly basis. We are just starting a negotiation with the European Union because they've really shut out our country to a large extent. They have barriers that they can trade with us, but we can't trade with them. They're very strong barriers, they have very high tariffs. We don't. It's just not fair.
Until Trump. In just a year, the American president ripped up many long-standing agreements and treated his European allies and NATO, the linchpin of Western security, with disdain. In August 2017, the US gave notice of its intention to withdraw from the Paris climate deal, which nearly 200 countries have signed, leaving America the only nation on Earth not involved.
We rebuilt China. But we're getting along with China very well. President Xi is a friend of mine. The deal is coming along nicely. We have our top representatives going there this weekend to further the deal. But no, we're taking in billions and billions of dollars right now in tariff money, and for a period of time that will stay.
First, we're taking new action to disentangle the IRGC from the Iranian economy. The United States will intensify our efforts to educate countries and companies on the risks of doing business with IRGC entities, and we will punish them if they persist in defiance of our warnings.
Two subsidiaries of Costco, a major Chinese shipping and logistics company, were blacklisted by the US Treasury, while China Concord Petroleum, Pegasus 88, Kunlun Shipping and Kunlun Holding were sanctioned for allegedly contravening US sanctions on Iran. China is the world's largest crude buyer. The US and China are caught in a prolonged trade war, and talks between both parties are expected to resume in the US next month.
To be honest with you, Europe has been very, very tough to deal with. They've taken advantage of our country, the European Union, for many, many years, and I told them we can't do it anymore. I met with them yesterday. I wanted to wait till they finished China, to be honest with you. I always like to be very transparent. I wanted to wait till I finished China. I didn't want to go with China and Europe at the same time.
Over the past few weeks, we have witnessed the emergence of a previously unknown pathogen, which has escalated into an unprecedented outbreak and which has been met by an unprecedented response. As I have said repeatedly since my return from Beijing, the Chinese government is to be congratulated for the extraordinary measures it has taken to contain the outbreak, despite the severe social and economic impact those measures are having on the Chinese people. We would have seen many more cases outside China by now, and probably deaths, if it were not for the government's efforts and the progress they have made to protect their own people and the people of the world.
Bloomberg also reporting Wednesday the White House received a classified report showing China concealed its actual numbers, according to 3 anonymous U.S. officials. Some believe if China had been transparent in the beginning, lives could have been saved. It wasn't until Wednesday that China began reporting asymptomatic cases, which many doctors say likely account for a large portion of overall cases.
You could see where they didn't want to create a crisis.
We want them to be transparent. We want to find out what happened so it never happens again.
The Chinese have not been transparent from the beginning. If they had been more transparent, more open up front in terms of giving us access, reporting, giving us access not just to the people on the ground, but to the virus they had so we could understand it, we'd probably be in a far different place right now.
Put on. What happened should never, ever have happened. China should have informed us that they had a problem. Watching us because we're leading the world.